Us West Ham fans, we're given a really hard time by the media, pundits, fans of other teams for being miserable, moaning, and it never being good enough. And I think that's been even heightened recently when a lot of our fans have sort of been saying we don't understand our identity anymore. And that's both on the pitch and off of it as well. But if there ever was an example of what us West Ham fans are talking about, it was that last night. We know we've got that in us. We know that that's what West Ham United's all about. It's going to places when we're totally written off and having one over on another team. Theo Walcott wrote us off. Everyone on TalkSport wrote us off. No one gave us a chance last night. And West Ham United turn up and not just win, but we've absolutely turned Newcastle over last night. In the end, it was never in doubt. And I know that there were warning signs early on that they did get through too easily. Obviously, they got their goal, but it was fairly written off. After that, the man that we said needed to be the first name on that sort of midfield three, which was Tomas Soucek, does what he does best, gets on the end of something, gets us a foothold in the game, and we never ever looked back after that. Absolute fantastic goal. Nice to see us actually get something done from a set piece. And that was a clever set piece as well. He knew exactly what he was doing. The way that Kilman run through the people in front of him, the defenders in front of him and pulled them away. The way that Soucek took that step back just to give him that half a yard of space, and then he attacks the ball, and what a fantastic header it was. After that, we kicked on. Newcastle shrunk. I was totally shocked by their lack of commitment and confidence after that. But take nothing away from West Ham. We made it doubly difficult for them last night. And one thing that I loved, and I really loved this about last night, was the post-match interviews. Both Tomas Soucek and Jared Bowen, they mentioned the word fight. Not a word that's often used because, I don't know, it sounds a bit corny and whatever, but they did fight last night. And there was a perfect example of that when Julen tried grabbing hold of Tomas Soucek's arm and he shrugs him off and he goes, I'm not having any of it, mate, not having any of it. But also I think Newcastle were probably told, look, let's wind this lot up because they do get yellow cards and they do get sending off. But every single person kept their heads, stuck to what we was doing, which was working. And tactically last night, we were so much better. I don't think there was any difference in the way that we wanted to play. I don't think Julen Lopetegui has done anything out of the ordinary from what he's already been doing. But everybody seemed to understand a little bit more that when somebody goes, how do I cover him? Where am I supposed to be on that football pitch? Perfect example, Wan-Bissaka, so happy for him getting his goal. And what a great performance from him last night. The way that he got forward there. If you see the wide view, the camera angle, you actually see we've got three defenders perfectly placed and in position that if Wan-Bissaka lost that ball or Newcastle recovered possession, they tried to counter-attack us, we were fully prepared for that and we were ready for Newcastle coming at us if Wan-Bissaka was out of place. So that was the first time that I've ever seen us have that right shape and have those players disciplined enough to notice, right, he's gone, he's committed himself, right, we need to now, this is what we need to be doing. So much better, but we didn't lose possession. Wan-Bissaka gets a little sniff at goal and he puts it into the far corner, which, at that moment in time, just dreamland, absolutely fantastic. So happy for the 3,000 fans that have gone up there on a Monday night with no way of getting home. Just ridiculous from the TV companies doing that to us. But travelling fans, as always, absolutely brilliant. In the end of November as well, just before Christmas, always got the best fans, and they were heard loud all the way throughout that match, which was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, after that, I felt we could have gone and got more. Newcastle seemed totally void of confidence. We were strolling through their midfield at times. Some of the players were picking up the ball and just carrying it forward at will, suddenly ending up on the edge of their box and almost being shocked at where they were now, literally like on Newcastle's edge of their area, and they sort of panicked and didn't know what to do with the ball. But we could have gone and got more last night. And yeah, it was absolutely good value for our win. It wasn't one of them ones where we've gone up there and sort of done a number on them and just, counter-attacked them and got 2 goals. We met them toe-to-toe. Absolutely went head-to-head with Newcastle last night and tried to match them in every department. And in fact, I think we outdone them. There were some fantastic performances last night. Carlos Soler, I think he made a massive difference to getting the ball moving, to get his head up, turning, getting the passes moving forward. Really good to see. That was his best performance for us since he joined. And we need to see more of that. I know I've been critical of Rodriguez and people have probably felt I've been a little bit unfair on him. But that last night was the perfect example of why I think that Rodriguez is useful in certain scenarios and in certain games, but he shouldn't be this he has been one of the first names on the team sheet. He's always been a starting player for us, and I think he's very limited in terms of his pace. And when we play the way that we play and we want to commit players forward, we've got to have people who can cover the pitch, and nobody covered that pitch last night more than Lucas Paqueta. It was good to have him back, literally first for all those key metrics, all those key stats, passes in the final thirds, tackles, recoveries, everything. He was just absolutely phenomenal. He had the bit between his teeth last night. He was everywhere. 1 minute he'd be putting a tackle in over there, and then he'd be putting his foot over there, and then he'd get himself on the ball, and he'd make things happen for us. Just a fantastic performance from him. That's what we've been missing. He showed last night why he is world class and why he's so highly thought of. But he just hasn't been doing it. But he showed that when he has them performances in him, it makes a massive, massive difference to West Ham and our midfield. So we need to see that moving forward now. We need to see him with those sorts of performances. That back heel though, just cut that out, mate. Like, if it's in their final third and you're trying to make something happen that might get us a chance at goal or something, fair enough. That deep in our own half, when you're 2-0 up and you're just thinking, don't let Newcastle score. My boy stayed up watching it. He actually fell asleep in the 91st minute, so he didn't get to see the end. But he done well to last as long as he did. He was really happy and enjoyed watching it, which is good. But I even said to him, the one thing we don't want to do here is let Newcastle get a goal, because if they do, that crowd will get up. Newcastle's confidence will build. I don't know what it will do to our confidence, and you could see them if they got one getting a second. So just don't do that back heel in your own, deep into your own half. It just didn't make any sense. I don't know why he did it. I don't want to take his creativity out of him, because that's really important. But yeah, I think Soler's benefiting from playing with Paqueta. Soler played that little ball over the top where he done that sort of flick that Paqueta's done many, many times and normally sets up Bowen with it. But Soler tried it last night. I think Soler is enjoying playing with Paqueta, to be honest, and he's clearly picking things up for him as well. So that was good. All round though, I think as a team, massive commitment, big fight, absolute dedication last night. All put in a proper shift. All fought for each other. Really, really good to see. And that's what we expect as West Ham fans. We don't expect to be at the top of the table. We don't expect to be in the top 4. We don't expect to win every week, but we do expect the players to give that level of commitment. Those 3,000 travelling fans, the West Ham fans that, commit to them week in, week out, they do have, and I know people don't necessarily agree with this, but they do have a responsibility to repay, people who are travelling all the way up to Newcastle on a Monday night just before Christmas. And they repaid them in abundance last night. That's exactly how you do it. That's how you get us West Ham fans on side. I guess one of the slight disappointments last night was Todibo going off, but switching that and turning it into a positive, when you saw it's Mavropanos coming on, I didn't get concerned. I didn't get worried. I thought, you know what, like for like replacement. If anything, Mavropanos probably handled Wilson better than Todibo would have done in the later part of that game. So actually, it kind of played into our favour. I hope Todibo hasn't got anything too serious. I haven't seen any updates on it today. Many of you probably already know what those reports are, but hoping he's okay, because I do want to see him back in. Fabianski as well last night. I mean, his footwork, he was quite happy to take Newcastle players on, and his distribution was much, much better last night. Again, another one that was sort of, many thought, well, Areola, he's our number one. A few of us called for it and said we think Fabianski needs to come back in. Fabianski's come back in and made it his own. He's your number one again. You certainly can't even be giving Areola a chance at the moment. He's got to sit there and wait now. And it's good to have those players and have a squad that you've got. And Mavropanos now, so if Todibo, has to sit out for a couple of games or whatever it may be with whatever knock he's got, you fancy Mavropanos to make it very difficult for Todibo to get back in that side. So it's nice to have players that can come on and players that can come off the bench who have got enough about them that you think, no, this ain't going to affect us negatively. This is all right. They can come on and they're going to be as good as what was already on the pitch. So look, it's given me confidence. It's given, hopefully, the squad more confidence. Jared Bowen, I've not seen many captain moments from him up until now, but I think his post-match interview was a real captain moment. He's made the noise. He's told everyone in that post-match interview, that's the level, that's what we expect, what it means to play for West Ham. You have to give that level of commitment week in, week out. That's the minimum. That's the minimum that we expect. That is the energy, the dedication, the commitment, the fight, the determination, all of that. That is what you've got to do if you want to play for West Ham and us fans to be happy. What happens after that, we can't control. But we will always back you and always support you and always be behind you if that's what we see. And Bowen's called them all out. He's called every single player out there last night and said in a roundabout way, he's basically said, some of you ain't been putting that in. You've got that in you, but you've not been putting that level of performance in. But last night you did. Now that's what's got to continue moving forward. And it's got to continue into the Arsenal game. A lot of people didn't see any points from those two games. It was almost when they sort of come out and said, oh, Lopetegui's got 2 games to save his job. Everyone said, well, that's it then, he's gone. Well, that's 1-0. And I now fully expect us to go and get something against Arsenal. I do. I don't think Arsenal are as good as they were last year. I think we can go toe-to-toe with Arsenal, just as we've just done with Newcastle. And I want us to go toe-to-toe with Arsenal. I don't want us to, change anything up. I don't want us to sit deeper. I don't want us to play with a back five. I don't want any of that. Exactly how we left off last night. Let's run into that game on Saturday. Let's get in their faces and let's show them what we're all about. So I've newfound confidence, expectations through the roof, and bring on the Arsenal. I'm absolutely looking forward to it now. Can't wait for it to come round and get there. I'll be out and nice and early and building up to the match. 5:30 kickoff. So plenty of drinking time beforehand. And what I think many would have said, 6 points up for grabs. They expect 0. Well, it could be 6 out of 6.